Hello, my name is Higan. I'm inside Hornbill TV. National Conference Day 2 do January 28 de loche Hotel Ceremony Dimapur de. Energizing MSMEs in international trade laga topic de. Conference do Indian Chamber of Commerce pra organize Korea laga se governance for growth laga team de. Conference do virtually or non-virtually loche good dignitary species bra MSME laga importance obor kotha koise. Aro janकारी khan ki ase jonai dishe. Detailed report amikala reporter Sumo Lode so.
We have been working very closely with the state government. In fact, we are one of the stakeholders who are formulating the state industrial policy. And very soon we are hopeful by this financial year, by March 2022, we should have a functional state industrial policy which will give a big boost to the Naga entrepreneurs and also those who want to invest in Nagaland. Secondly, we are also working very closely with the MSME ministry. We signed a MOU with the Union Secretary of, when the Union Secretary was here last month, we signed an MOU with MSME. So we are trying to work closely with them so that we can bring their schemes to the Naga entrepreneurs in a more organized way. And we are also working closely with the banks. Without finance, without banks, we cannot expand. So, be it PME, GP loans, be it other kind of loans like Mudra, everything, we are trying to work with the banks so that it will be easy for sincere Naga entrepreneurs to avail those kind of financial help.
Goods cannot go out or come in from any point in the border. You have designated places which are called customs stations, right? A customs station. In places in the country which don't have access to the port, the government creates a concept of a dry port. Delhi, for example, is not anywhere near the sea. And when it comes to big scale import or export, doing it through flights may be expensive, Perishable items, you can do it, but most of the trade globally happens through big ships in the cargo, right? So for somebody who wishes to export from inland, there is the concept of inland container depot, which is basically a dry port in Delhi itself. We have one of the biggest in Asia at Tughlaqabad. So what happens there is, for someone who wants to export, all customs related work happens there in Delhi itself. And his goods, for practical purposes, is almost as if he has exported from Delhi. Similarly, for the Northeast, we have one ICD, which is at Guwahati. Land customs stations. These are basically points at the border area. Since India is a big country, we have so many neighbors, but for the Northeast, the land customs station becomes an important point. For facilitation of trade in the Northeast, land customs stations, there are almost 35 notified land customs stations in the Northeast, out of which around 25 are functional. Closest to us, sitting here in Nagaland, would be Moreh in Manipur, and another important land customs station with Myanmar is in Champhai region of Mizoram at Zorkathor. These are some of the basic documents that are required for export of goods. One, the Import-Export Code, or IEC number. This is the basic document, and this is basically a license allowing you to import or export. It is given by DGFT, Directorate General of Foreign Trade. These days everything is online, so for a small amount of money, this registration is done. It is basically PAN number based, so which means you already need to be having a PAN number to register under IEC, right? You also need a GST registration. Now, for somebody who is exporting, is GST coming into the picture? Yes, but in a different way. In order to make our goods competitive outside, the government has zero rating for GST, which means you should not be exporting out your tax. So whatever tax you pay on creating a product to export, that amount can be refunded back. There are various procedures for this, but the idea is you pay GST on whatever items you're going to use for export. Amount of GST paid and all this can be refunded back. All this is done online. You have a portal called IceGate, which stands for Indian Customs and Excise Electronic Data Interchange Gateway, IceGate, which is the portal through which registration, filing of any documents with the customs happens. Apart from these, the other things which would be required are a commercial invoice. Basically, when you're exporting, the customs officer needs to know what is the price at which you are selling to your buyer there. So a commercial invoice. Next is the packing list. Packing list shows what are the items that you have packed in your cargo which is to go out. It helps for the checking. Along with this, there are many registrations that you have to take with other departments, but which will be checked by the customs officer on being exported. For example, if it is food, you need proper registration and clearances from Food and Safety Standards Authority of India, right? Similarly, if it is plants, plant quarantine, animal quarantine, textile board, spice board, the list goes on. So depending on what commodity you are going to export, the relevant agency which checks certification quality, you will need to have those kind of clearances. Now, in order to make this smooth, the Customs Department has created what is called SWIFT, which is an online center where instead of the exporter running around at one place, all these departments from whom clearances are required and customs have come together in one platform. So this is done online, therefore, it is easier for getting response and the exporters don't need to run around.